Ring the alarm bell, Saints fans. We're here for an emergency pod. This doesn't happen. This hasn't happened yet over the three seasons that we've been doing this podcast. Never have we ever had such news of high standard that we've needed to come in.
Drama.
Yeah, it's very dramatic, isn't it?
And sit together and just talk and discuss and go through what's happened over this week, because it has been absolutely ridiculous, and I'm keen to get into it because I've been holding my tongue. About it and keeping my thoughts to myself.
Yeah, you've been quiet.
He's been very quiet, isn't he, in the chat?
I'm quiet in the inbox. It's hard to type. I've only got one hand at the moment. The phone's a little big for my little mitts, so if you, I was going to say you probably can't see it at the moment if you're listening on the to the podcast, but if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see I'm in a sling. So came off the skateboard and
you also
I got the pins out too.
You can see the little shorts. It's got
exactly right.
He's got the.
I'm match ready.
The pins or the trunks?
Pins of the trunks. It's like a terry toweling.
Yeah. We got a bit of toweling. Don't forget to bring a towel.
It's very Top Gun of you.
Thank you very much. I'll take that as a compliment. Jake's
good reference there. I like
Jake's
that.
pants are getting shorter. He's doing it to shorts as well. Anyway, we've all been having a nice little off season. A few different things have been going on. Marshy, of course, you've had the baby, so you've been able to settle in without Saints footy, throwing your blood pressure off once a week. But
100%.
I mean, the Saints FCW you've been continuing on with. And,
represent.
Look at that. That is a nice number.
Yeah, speaking of like interesting and yip lads and listeners, but have a feel of this material.
I'm coming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's different. I don't know if
Very
it's
thin.
So I've got the Indigenous AFLW kit on for those listening at home, and I don't know if it's a cotton on thing, but it's definitely a lot different to the lads material.
Girls playing summer.
Yeah, true.
Need a thinner material to keep cool.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I'd say.
So it's not bad. Like it does bell bottom out because it is a classic woman's cut. So the hips don't lie. So it's not bad. It's not bad. Gives you a bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, I love the jumper though. It's
cute.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
that's
nice,
a good one.
Good design.
It's got the target as well, right in the middle.
That's
Hit us here.
Yeah, that's it. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. And Jake, you've just celebrated your 30th birthday over the weekend, so happy birthday to
Happy
Jake.
birthday.
Thank you, boys.
Godfather.
Yeah, no.
How was it?
Yeah, it was great in the end. I thought it was going to be very low key. Just how I like it. I don't like a lot of attention, surprisingly, considering I put my face on everything on the channel.
I'm surprised you didn't do a video on your 30th.
I was actually contemplating a live stream, but join me for Jake's 30th anniversary. That was a great day in the end. It was a couple of little surprises from the family. Ended up at a nice winery as well, and there's a nice little present, little trip in a couple of weeks' time that the family's kind of chipped in for, which is great. So
brilliant.
Love them all, and thank them for an awesome 30th. Couldn't have spent it with anyone else, really.
Everything's coming up Millhouse. That's
yeah,
very good.
yeah. Considering the days before the drama,
exactly.
to then just have a nice day, not think about Saints footy, which is almost impossible at the moment.
Yeah.
When you go from like irrelevant, I guess, what Jeff Walsh was alluding to, and now we're suddenly, I think someone screenshotted the front page of the AFL website on the Friday.
Yeah.
There was it was the first 10 articles were just Saint stuff.
Stuff, yeah.
Maybe we just did that just to be relevant for a couple of days. Or?
Yeah. So you had a lot of red and white over the weekend, but not so much black, which is nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of red, absolutely.
All right, boys. Well, who's going to drop it here?
Oh, well.
Who's going to drop it like a
yeah,
top?
You're the one who you messaged me. Well, I mean, I
did.
got so many text messages.
Yeah.
And it was just like, have you heard? Have you heard? No one actually said anything. So I was just sitting on the couch watching might have been Top Gun. Yeah. No, it was Top Gun. I was watching a movie and then you messaged me and you're like, surely you're onto this or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds pretty big. And then I jumped on Facebook and there it was.
He was switched off. He was done.
I was completely done. I was done for the night. I was ready to go to bed.
I can believe it. Yeah, you went on the pulse on that one. I'm like,
I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
He was finally at peace.
I know. I was like,
how was that? How was that half an hour?
I was content with where Saints footy was at, and I'm like, all right, well, the trade window was kind of the what we were all annoyed about because of the lack of activity, and then we dropped that bomb, and we don't even think about the trade period now. It's not that important compared to what the next week or two holds for the club, does it?
Yep. And let's speak about it. So What day was it? What night? It was at about
Thursday night.
Thursday night at about 10:30.
That's an insane time.
I
for that
get a
to
little vibration on the phone, and Marshy just puts in the group, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, here we go. Something big has happened. It was in capital letters too, or something. And it's not like
it had about 4 exclamation marks, I reckon.
Yeah, and Marshy's not one to really.
Nah, he's the chill one of the group.
He is the chill one.
I'm
of
the
group.
one that
Yeah.
would overreact a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm with you. When
Yeah.
I get that white line fever when I'm at Marvel Stadium, I can't help myself.
Yeah.
But like, Marshy's gone, "What?" exclamation marks. I was like, Ratten's been sacked. I just knew it straight away. I just knew it straight away because I was like, we've expected the worst in this trade period. We've expected the absolute worst, and all we've done is lose Ben Long. You know, which is pretty big, don't get me wrong. So that's only one shit on the doorstep of RSEA Park for Marshy. I'm holding you to that.
Enough of this.
But he, out of all the talk of Hill and Clark going to North Melbourne and potentially, like, you know, there was talks about Nasiah going back home. This is fantastic. We've come out with minimal damage. We haven't gone in and gone to the trophy cabinet and picked out what we like, but we've come out with minimal damage, which is what I was happy with until the car crash that was on Thursday night at 10:30.
Well, it's not like other sackings, I guess, over the years with other clubs where there's, you know, a couple of months of kind of, I guess, they warm you up. You kind of know that, oh, this is probably going to happen at some point, you know? Whereas this was, for me, it was as shocking as the Grant Thomas one.
Yeah,
like, because there was no word of him being out of favour.
No.
From what I can remember, we just made finals 04, 05, 06, then we get knocked out by Melbourne in the elimination, and then the next day he's gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what?
I was going to say, but this is classic St Kilda. We do this every 6-7 years, because remember that happened to Blight midway through the season as well.
Yeah.
Well, he came in, we paid him $1 million, and then after 13 rounds, he was done.
Yeah.
But yeah, GT was like, we'd made finals every single year.
Yeah.
The last 3 or 4 years under him, and he was about to see the peak of what he was developing. Yeah. In the end, Ross did.
And we had so many players going out at the end of that year as well,
Yeah.
in terms of like your Frankie Peckett's and Andrew Thompson and everything like that. They were on their last leg. So, of course, we weren't going to go all the way that year. But we were about to rebuild, and Grant Thomas was about to take us through another rebuild, which he did quite successfully through, 2004, 2005 onwards. So, yeah, and this, I got to say, it was the same feeling of like, what? Like, it just, a scrunched up piece of paper thrown at you and then burnt, and then you got to go through the ashes and piece together all the parts and go, how the fuck has this happened? Let me make sense of it. But it was not unexpected, but the timing was off.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think in my video today, someone asked me, do you think it was the right decision?
Yeah.
And I thought about it pretty hard, and I said, I think it is. This saves us from doing this 10 weeks into next year if we're not playing well.
3 games.
3 games into next year, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
If we don't make finals next year, what we saw last week would have happened already.
Yeah.
But we might have missed the boat on maybe a good coach or
like your Clarksons and
something like that.
It's just time wasted.
Yeah.
And it's time wasted again. So for the first time in a long time, the club, I think, was proactive on it.
Yes.
But we also knew that there was a review happening as well.
Yeah.
But we didn't think the review would hit the top dog. We thought the review was going to just clean up the assistants, tidy that area up, which has already been happening. So we kind of thought, well, get that right. Give Rats a year with a different crew, and we'll see how we go. And then if that doesn't work, then it goes to him.
Yeah.
But it went straight to him from the get-go.
Yeah.
So
and
they're
what
not
I find
messing
funny,
around.
though, is like the timing's been off about everything. We had one good win against Carlton after having 2 deplorable losses.
Yeah.
And they signed him on. Mm-hmm. The timing was off about that. They went the early crow on that. I thought that was weird.
Was it after the Carlton win?
Yeah, it was after the Carlton win.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like round 16.
Yeah.
Like
We hadn't even solidified finals yet.
Yeah. So it wasn't exactly like bang on the midway point of the year.
No.
And then
I reckon they, from what they said in the presser, Bassett, he kind of said that it was a show of faith to Rats.
That's right, yeah.
To kind of get him to focus on the footy, but also the team as well. Because at that point we were in the 8. So they kind of thought, well, we'll commit to the coach,
But
we'll calm the battle stations and let everyone focus on the footy. And obviously they knew if it didn't work out, they only have to pay him out 6 months. So they obviously knew, well, if it doesn't work out, we've got the money. Didn't get De Goey, didn't get a big name to pay. There's money in the kitty to say see you later if we need to. And obviously it happened.
Did he only have to get paid out for 6 months of work? Brett Ratten?
Yeah, I think there was a clause.
Yeah, it's a clause. So he's signed on for 2 years, but they only have to pay him out 6 months. They don't have to pay him out the 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a bit unfair, but that's the new sort of clause at the moment. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so 6 months.
Yeah.
I think they can handle that.
Oh, definitely.
That risk.
I think, we've definitely got the room to handle that. And
Yeah.
I think that we've definitely got the passion behind us now from some ex-players and ex-coaches, which we'll get into in terms of coming in and, not doing it for an exorbitant amount of money, but doing it for the right reasons. But, I don't know. What were your reactions to it? We saw your reaction, which was just like, what?
Yeah. It was incredulous. And so, initial reactions were shock, and then like all the common words that everyone's been throwing up. But, I think now that, it's more, after it's all been digested, it's after such a dull and uninspiring trade period, and a really flaccid way to round off our year on field, entering 150th year next season, I was really flat and just not enthused about what was to come. But now that this has happened, it's just, I'm really excited to see what can happen next year, because whether it's Ross, whoever we bring in, it's someone different. We've been talking about it all year that I think, well, not I think, but the lack of a game plan, all up, really. Since 2020, we have not had a game plan. And so I think looking at what Collingwood were able to do really quickly, I think that's sort of made Gags. It was funny because this is coming on the back of Gags, our list manager, saying that Saints fans are we're really patient. We're not. We're done being patient. We just put up with it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see that the front of office or the board, they're not.
Yeah. Is that a bit naive for him to say something like that about us?
Very, very much so.
Like to say that we're patient. Did he actually go on and say that, well, we've been around for 150 years, what's another year?
Yeah.
To wait?
To that
Something
effect.
around that, to that effect. It's like, how dare you almost?
I found that really frustrating. And don't justify your lack thereof activity when you've...
Yeah.
The goal was to bring in high-end talent and hit the draft, and we sat on the fence and did nothing. It was very conservative. So, but I don't know. It's good to see that we're not patient. We want to bring in that next flag as soon as possible. And for them to make the hard calls that they've done, we're not perfect. They're not perfect, but it's good to see some action. And now I'm really, we're having this emergency pod.
Yeah.
Saners are in the headlines, baby. And who knows? We already knew what we were going to get next season with Rats in charge. If things remained relatively the same, we've got Lenny coming in, and that was as far as my excitement levels went. It was like, all right, organic growth and Lenny's influence. That's it. But now we're going to have a whole different regime to really sink our teeth in and see what comes of it.
And Lenny might not be the last ex-Saner, ex-legend to suddenly get back into the club and have an influence.
Yeah, that's exactly
knows?
right, boys. Yeah, a lot of people have been putting their hands up, and there's been a lot of chatter. Like Milne was on SEN yesterday, and you guys had to listen to that, or
I posted about it earlier today. I quoted him.
That's right. Yeah.
He was very, very, I guess he's very excited about the prospect of Ross, the boss, getting the gig again.
Yeah.
And he spoke on behalf of pretty much all of the ex-players from that time. And we saw that photo. They caught up a couple of weeks ago for that prelim reunion thing.
Yeah.
It was Milne, Rui, Lenny, Joey. They were all there. They all rate him. They all love him. That says a lot about I guess his coaching. He was strict, but he still maintains all these relationships.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I was going to say, you talk about his coaching and how he was strict, and how in 2011, like we were in a pretty bad position after he left, and we thought he was going to stay on. So, and of course the players could definitely have some premonitions about that and say, I can't believe he left us and he didn't want to stay on, but the club wasn't showing too much faith to Ross at that time either. So
it took him so long to come back to him with sort of an offer.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
That's the real story. People don't know it very well, but he said it himself that he was ready to commit. He wanted to stay.
Yeah.
But they didn't come to the party, and he's like, well, I've got to get some security. Like, I've just made grand finals with this team, and they're still not showing me faith.
Well, that's right. Because, like, to us supporters, I put my hand up saying that, I felt like he absolutely dogged us.
Yeah.
And I was off Ross for a long time. But if the ones that he's actually leaving still rate him that highly,
spot on,
then, you can only back that in.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And not only that, we'll start to get really deep into this Ross Lyon thing right now, I guess. But, he is the number one leader for the spot to take over. I'd hate to see us bring in a first-year coach and have him sort of go through the list and go through the motions of that, because I think that'd be really unfair, not only to him, but also to all the St Kilda fans. I think it'd be really, really unfair to not be excited about someone coming back and coaching the Saints. So I think all signs point to Ross, and I think he's the perfect candidate as well. Rats was a teddy bear. Rats was an absolute teddy bear, and he took care of the boys through one of the roughest periods of AFL football
That's a good
ever.
point.
You go World War I, World War II, COVID.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant.
100%, and I can't help but... You've nailed it on the head there, Joyce, and I reckon that's kind of set Rats up to ultimately fail, because it was such a unique set of circumstances where he had to be a whole lot more than a coach in that 2020 season.
Yeah.
And we found that when we came back, we just could never really recalibrate to what a normal footy environment looks like.
Yeah.
So I don't think Rats was really given the right sort of footing from the get-go as to build this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's just caught up with him, unfortunately.
Yeah, spot on.
Too far one way or the other.
Yep. And it's happened to a lot of coaches.
Yep.
You look at John Noble. It's happened to him.
Dave Noble.
Noble.
Yeah.
No, sorry, David Noble. John's his son, plays for Collingwood. David Noble, happened to him. Leon Cameron couldn't get through it.
Ray
Shaw couldn't get through it. Like, it's just, if you were a struggling club at that stage, chances are you're still a struggling club now. Freo came out on the better side of things because they've signed on long,
and they weren't living. They
weren't.
weren't living in a bubble. Either.
No, exactly.
They were fly in, fly out. That was pretty similar for them.
Yeah, exactly right. So, it's just a different situation all across the board. You look at Port Adelaide as well; they've fallen off. Just a lot of clubs are going through a lot of change at the moment because of this post-COVID period, and I think the best thing that can happen post-COVID is structure. So there's restructure, but, in simpler terms, structure. And that's what Ross Lyon was all about. Knowing your role, how do you get to the best of your ability, and, how do you push through the tougher times as a player, but still ultimately come out as a good football team?
Yeah.
How do these 22 players that I put on the park reflect what we've been talking about behind the scenes? And he was the best at that.
Yeah.
The absolute A grade best at that. And I think that in terms of the ones that are stiff not to have a premiership because of the way that he handled things at football clubs, Ross Lyon goes down in history as losing three grand finals.
Yeah.
Excluding the replay of the draw, because that was, once in a lifetime, but we lost by 12 points. There was a draw, so that buffer is still 12 points, negative 12 points.
Yeah.
And then I think Freo lost to
3 goals.
13 or
3 goals
or
or
3
something,
goals.
under 3 goals.
Yeah.
All up, it would have been less than 35 points.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
That's
right.
10 points a grand
It
final.
would have been about 30 points.
Yeah.
He's 30 points and 3 games away.
And people, for some reason, still blame him. I don't know how they can for 09, for Luke Ball and Max Hudson not playing. Halftime, we talk about it all the time.
It was our kicking.
Yeah, statistically, it was a 7-goal better team than Geelong on the
Yeah.
day. He doesn't go there and try and take this. Schneider misses chances. Milne misses chances.
He can't kick the footy for
He's
us.
not there on the field. He did everything else right.
Yeah.
He got there. He got us to the big day. That's
Yeah.
his job. He literally did his job.
Yep.
And then the rest is on the boys.
That's exactly
And they didn't
right.
do it. So
Yeah.
you can't blame him for that.
That's exactly right. He can't control the leather.
No.
He can only put the right ideas in the mind
leather-
of those that do.
And
Even
not
the
only
mouse.
he got us there, he got Freo there, and we were
Breaking news, St Kilda.
Yeah.
that's it.
Use that
And,
as
and, and we're more than competitive, like as
Yeah.
in, what's his name? Got to Sydney this season. They got flogged.
Yes.
So none of his teams got flogged. But anyways, Ross the boss. You ready for him, boys?
I was so excited as soon I saw the Brett Ratten news and the digest happened over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on Sunday afternoon, someone drops an article that says, who's the best fit for the next St Kilda coach? And I was like, I'm so excited. Saints footy,
Yeah,
let's go.
that's
Let's
right,
get a
yeah.
new coach. We're on the road to glory.
Yeah.
I'm such a sucker for it.
Yeah.
I'm such a sucker for that. Like just
It's
moving
exciting.
forward and moving on into the next era of St Kilda.
Because we were so excited for Rats when he came
Yeah.
on board.
Yeah,
spot
we're
on.
pumped.
You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely pumped.
Yeah, and we felt vindicated in that because in 2020 we made the finals and won
Yeah.
a final.
Yeah.
We thought we're on the build here, and then 2021 came around and all that post-COVID sort of stuff came around and just fucking ruined him. And, look, given it being in another time, maybe things would have been different.
Yeah.
But, the talent on the park wasn't replicating the latter positions
Yeah.
in terms of what was happening.
I think that's what people say. Obviously, if Ross did come in, he's not picking up that same list that he picked up in 07 from GT's hard work.
Yes,
But at the same time, like it wasn't all GT. Like Rossi, he created that platform, that process that they didn't have before.
Correct.
And that's what we don't have now. And he clearly rates, I think he's been public about it, he rates our list. He thinks it's
Yeah.
a good list.
Yeah.
He clearly...
So do I.
And
I
we
think
all
we're
do. We all
underachieving.
genuinely do. Like,
Yeah.
we obviously know we need some depth. We need some A-grade talent.
Yeah.
But who's to say that... Imagine what Ross could do with a Gresh, what he could do with a Hunter Clark.
I was going to say, that's
could he
what
do with
Rats
these sort
did
of
to
players?
us, though, as well. That was the best thing about Ratten. Jack Steele,
Yeah.
Yeah.
two-time All-Australian under Brett Ratten. That's because of Brett Ratten's belief in Jack Steele.
Look at Windy now.
Look at Windy. Look at Rowan Marshall, how fast he's come
Sinclair.
through. Look at Sinclair.
Like,
Wilkie.
that was a slow burn, but he got there with him.
5 A-graders
Wilkie.
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
But they're just flying under that radar because we're not making finals.
It's the Jack Billings type
Yeah.
that I would love to see what happens under Ross.
Yes.
Yeah.
The JBs, like he's either
Yeah.
not going to play at all,
Yeah.
or he'll turn him around and
Yeah.
make him a
Is
very
he, he's
good
going to
player.
be? Is he going to be the Luke Ball of the
That's it.
modern era?
Could well be. But that's why people say, oh, he can't develop. It's like, it's not just about getting an 18-year-old from the draft and turning them into a Brownlow medalist. It's about, he can get a 25-year-old that's on the edge of not playing more than 5 games a year
Yeah.
to playing 22 and being a consistent contributor
Yes.
to a very good team. Look at Andrew McWalter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he got out of him?
If you watch what he got out of him in 09 and 10, you're like, no other coach could have done that.
No.
Robert Eddy.
Yeah.
Zach Dawson, even in fullback, everyone questioned that. He was
Great.
actually a
Yeah.
good fullback at times.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
yeah.
Oh, he was unreal in the finals.
Unreal in the finals.
Yeah.
It's like Ross can do these sort of things. I think he can look at the list and go, there's 10 players there and I reckon I can turn them around.
Yeah, and he's
Milne
not,
said
he's-
that.
he doesn't like. I mean, every coach has their favourites, and they have the blokes that they can rely on, and that's who turns into your favourites. But the thing that I'd like you've named Jack Billings, but I reckon the one that's going to be on edge is Ross. Is Seb Ross.
Yeah, Seb Ross too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see what he can do with those players that we picked up through that 2012 to 2016 period, who are just kind of teetering around, or 2017 either, even. And, you know, there's some good football there, but they've been really messed up in the head by the approaches that Alan Richardson had and then Brett Ratten had, just not coinciding. So I'd love to see a strong-minded coach who believes in what he says and makes you believe in what he says. And if you're looking for anyone, and we're always doing it as St Kilda Football Club, someone to be the Messiah, I feel he's not the Messiah, but he's a prophet. You know? I think the Messiah is the Holy Grail, the Premiership Cup.
Yeah.
But we need a prophet. We need a saint.
Yeah.
We need someone to take us there. We need someone to lead us through.
Need a shepherd.
We need a shepherd.
Yeah, that's it.
We need a Moses.
Yeah.
A rose? Nah.
Yeah.
No.
And we need... And it was like for Essendon Football Club, you know, that was Kevin Sheedy. Kevin Sheedy was Moses. He went up that hill for 40 years and came back down with the tablet. You know, he came back down with the cups.
Yeah. Are we all, obviously, we're clearly excited at the prospect of getting Ross, and he's clearly all of our kind of pick.
Yeah,
Definitely the pick of the litter for me.
Now, a lot of saying obviously, we can't just talk about our opinion, but circulating online are very much against this. Anytime I post about it, it's we're going to lose memberships. People are going to cancel the memberships. People have messaged me saying they've already done that, even at the idea of getting Ross.
Well,
GT, about.
Yeah.
GT, I think he's happy with that idea.
He's definitely pro Ross.
Down for it.
He summed it up where 50% of Saints fans would love Ross to come back. The rest would not. But if we start winning, getting results, everyone's happy.
Yeah, that 50% comes straight back.
Yeah, and obviously most of that 50% that don't want Ross to jump on board, their real reason is, look at the way he left us. That's literally the one reason. And then they mentioned the last 4 years at Fremantle where they won 4 games, 5, 6 and 4.
Yeah.
But, you know, you say GT set us up and then he took over and reaped the rewards.
Yeah.
Who's to say that Longmuir now is not reaping some of the rewards?
Of what Ross Lyon has set up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's some of the youngsters there that he gave games to, that he debuted back then.
Yeah.
That are now some of their best players.
There's a reason why Lachie Neale is such a bloody good footballer. Not only because he's got talent and he is that good, but he was under Ross Lyon for that long. Nathan Fyfe won 2 Brownlows under Ross Lyon.
Absolutely. Yeah. And who's the marquee player that we signed that was an All-Australian and their best player? Old Bradley Hill.
Yeah.
Under Ross was the best attacking winger in the comp.
Do you reckon that's why Bradley Hill did not go to North Melbourne? Another can of worms here.
No, I don't think so, but I think that he'd be pretty excited at the idea of, if I can't work with Clark, I'll at least get Ross back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's never been in unfamiliar territory, really, has he? Until he went to Fremantle, he was unfamiliar with Ross Lyon. But, you know, he had Brett Ratten while he was at Hawthorn, and then Brett Ratten came along to St Kilda, and So
I think, I think a lot of people will be quite upset about it, but I think they could move on pretty quickly if, like you say, we start performing.
And it's not something, if Ross does come back, it's not something that you're going to see in the first half of the season, as you've seen with Collingwood. Craig McRae didn't get them playing their best football in the first half of the season. He was trial and error. He was like, where is this team going to play its best football and how can I get the best out of this team? In that second half of the season, you saw that charge.
Yeah. That
charge towards finals was unbelievable. And the amount of tight games that they won almost got into a grand final because of the way that they finished off games. So I think that whoever we get in as coach, you've got to have time to let the dust settle.
So that whoever we bring in, like, at risk of putting all the eggs in the Ross Lyon conversation, the other ones that are out there is Leon Cameron. We met with him today, we're actually having a process.
So they say.
Okay.
Much to the chagrin to GT.
I was going to say
we're not getting Leon Cameron.
Please.
No, he doesn't fit the bill for me.
Nah. Harvey was spotted at RSEA over the weekend.
Yeah.
apparently we're catching up with Bucks later on in the week. So it does seem to me that we're either putting on a show or we genuinely are going through a process.
I wonder if any of them would be able to put their ego aside and work under someone else.
I was going to say
forward coach or assistant coach
would be a great assistant coach because he's likable.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes Ross Lyon can be unlikable, really unlikable, but it's the right thing to do, and he knows when to do it, and he gets stuck into his players, which we haven't had for a while. We haven't had a coach that is absolutely ripped into players when they're not playing.
Because it all started with Scotty Waters. He was the man to come in and give us a big cuddle.
Yes, yeah.
And Richo was like, "Oh, I'll give you a smack on the bum, but that's all right. We'll go and get some ice cream later."
Mediocrity, that bloke.
He did.
Yeah. So it could be an assistant.
I would love to see Buckley.
Even Robert Harvey, he's done it for many a year.
And everyone loves halves.
And it just feels weird that he's still not at the club yet, officially.
Yeah.
You feel like maybe...
Imagine if we just had Robert Harvey as the runner. How many messages would get out onto the ground? That'd be fucking ridiculous.
It'd be like 90 Ks a game.
All right, let's start a new one. Before we sort out our head coach, let's sort out Robert Harvey as the runner. Sorry, Tony Brown. Player welfare manager. Stick to it because you're doing a fantastic job. Robert Harvey, get out there as the runner because, he'd be, through that 50... into the midfield, into the defensive 50, in the blink of an eye, spreading that much talk and there's many messages in the breaks in play because, of course, they can't be on the ground anymore. Mm-hmm. So we need someone who's got the tank for it.
Robert, chance.
Robert, I would love to see you.
Then there's the unprovens that obviously are very highly regarded, like Adam Uze. Scotty Burns, Jamie Graham.
Yep.
Surely Gene Syracusa is never welcome at RSCA. That dog.
Yeah. And who else?
I did us a favour.
Don Pike as well.
What, by killing Cozzy?
No, 9 when he missed.
Oh, yeah, on the 11.
Yeah.
Don Pike is the other one that people think could be that good mix of hardness.
That's just, Adelaide camp.
Yeah, just legit, yeah.
Nah.
Who else? Who else is there?
Well, there's Lepich, who apparently he's a Collingwood. We got reminded online that he's not at Richmond anymore. He's in fact at Collingwood as their strategy guy.
Yep.
So
I can't imagine he'd want to leave that gig.
But that's an interesting spin. The smoke screen is that it's actually because we definitely have the vacant position, and whoever the head coach is, they certainly get say in who they want to bring across with them. So
yeah.
And if we're approaching Jason Cripps from Port, the list manager?
Yeah.
Big money.
Yeah, you wonder who's already asking for that to happen.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have just gone and done that without
a little bit of
push. We're having a real Saints reunion, it seems, which is good because
we've wanted that for years.
I didn't know this about Cripps until later on, but I didn't realise he missed 3 years of football.
Oh, yeah.
With chronic hamstring injuries.
Yeah, he was always
he was the bloke that, when I was younger, I had the footy album, and had, the pictures of all the players, and who is this Cripps guy? I only see him in my footy albums. He's never playing.
He was the first memories of football that I had. He was in the team. From 2000 onwards, I remember football. I remember being at my first ever game in 2000 at Marvel Stadium. Before that, I don't my parents used to take me to Waverley Park all the time. Don't remember any of it. Mm-hmm. But remember...
He's such an enigma.
And he was always playing.
Yeah.
So I just remember him always playing, but I didn't know from 97 till 2000 he was out with hamstrings.
Yeah, that was me peak footy album time.
Yeah.
And who is this guy?
Yeah, and I was going to say, we showed faith in him.
Yeah. He needs to come back because, he's exactly what you want out of a list manager.
Yeah.
Because Port, they're always nibbling at something at trade period. They're always trying to improve their list and doing
he can spot talent.
Yeah.
And he can bring us Connor Rosé because Connor Rosé is a Saints supporter. Get it done.
Because even when they did that big dump and got rid of the wing guards and things like that, that's what I kind of thought that we were gearing up to do this trade period by, getting rid of a biggish name player in the sake of bringing in good picks. To reload.
But we didn't.
We didn't.
Yeah, we still got that lucrative pick 9, which I'm very happy about. I'm happy we didn't give that away for anyone. We didn't get anything higher, we didn't do the Clark trade to North to
We've got
get a higher
9,
pick, but
28 and 32.
yeah, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, I just think that this bomb that's gone off at St Kilda, you know, we're at the brunt of all the jokes again.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, as I said, happens every 6-7 years with coaches. But all in all, Brett Ratten, thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We hope he's going. We all know that it was a tough week for him, and he did fight for hours to keep his job.
Yeah.
Like, he did not give this up easy. He did not agree with the decision.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
course, yeah.
I just want to see him back in football in some capacity. Cause
definitely.
He's too good to just
He's
not
a
get back
ripper.
into it. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say thanks from all of us here at Saints TV as well, especially that 2020 year when we didn't really have a lot of good news going on. But the best part was to sit down and watch Saints play good football and get a run on into finals. So Brett Ratten, top coach. Well done. Thank you. Thanks for giving us the faith again.
We're done there.
Oh,
Perfect timing. For
perfect
junk mail.
timing. Yeah, we'll go into a bit of Jakey's junk mail.
Done.
Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail.
Putting the brakes on.
Yeah, something's just happened.
Breaking news.
Marshy, break it.
Break it.
Break it. Oh, I'm so bad at paraphrasing, but I suppose it's not breaking 50 minutes ago.
You are.
So whilst we're Ross Lyon, we just saw it on the news that he's come out with his little backpack
Outside his mansion.
He can't not tell the story. It's like, I'm bad at paraphrasing. So he comes out with his backpack and a blue polo shirt on.
Yeah, that's it. He gets door stopped outside of Andrew Bassett's house.
Mansion.
Yeah, that's right. After a 4-hour little
meeting.
soiree. So,
Yeah.
what do you reckon's in the backpack? Are we thinking laptops, PowerPoint presentations?
Saint
I
Scars.
reckon that's the
Saint scarves.
2023 Cup, boys.
Yeah, that's
Nah.
exactly right.
And he looked excited, didn't he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
the
did.
way
He
he-
had that smirk, didn't he?
Yeah, I love that he went to Tom Brown. He's like, yeah, it'd be a big step, wouldn't it? You know, it's like that classic Ross Lyon rhetorical question right back at you.
Yeah.
Big step, as if like it's a foregone conclusion.
Very
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like as if it's done.
it's a big
But
thing.
It's done. We've just said it. All these other
don't think
blokes have had meetings at RSEA. Ross Lyon goes
got-
to the big boss's house. They're schmoozing him.
Jeff Walsh was at the club today, 2
Yep.
weeks before he's scheduled to start.
There we go.
So maybe he called in or something.
Yep.
He would have been part of that. So
yeah.
you wonder by the end of the week, I reckon it could be.
There's
could be
some
announced.
serious greasing going on.
There is definitely some serious greasing going on.
he looked a
there's,
very
there's
happy
a
man.
personal chef that was there for lunch who's taking care of the the boys, having a meeting, just putting on a nice slow cooked lamb shank or something like that. There's some red wine on the table.
Yeah.
They're getting loose. They're
It's-
chatting ideas.
And even like Rossi getting into his car.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Yeah,
just, it's
I reckon-
so funny.
I reckon he wants to say something, but he can't. He's like me trying to hold a secret. You just want to get it out.
Yeah.
You're just too excited.
yeah, spot on.
And that's the way it looked to him when they asked him if he's interested. And he's like, well, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. you
Yeah.
know? Wouldn't be meeting the president.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there you go.
I reckon you're spot on about the names we mentioned before, the Leon Camerons of the world, whether or not that they're actually there for the assistance.
Why wouldn't you?
True.
You're,
Yeah.
If you know you're working with someone like Ross, I mean, it could be. Some people would probably be like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Love
exactly.
to. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. So some interesting news there before we get cracking into some Jakey's junk.
I missed the junk mail.
Yeah, me too. A little bit of junk mail on your
Yeah.
Monday night's always nice, isn't it?
Well, we know what this is going to be about, but we'll get stuck into it. Let's go with Miguel. Miguel. Do you have faith in where our club is going? I feel like things can go extremely both ways.
Oh yeah, we're leaving nothing up to chance at the moment.
Yeah.
It's what is it? Chips in.
Yeah.
Yeah, our
All
chips are in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was to you in the chat or something, but it's like you could either stand still, like we kind of were doing,
Yeah.
or you can try and make a move. And if it doesn't work, at least you've moved. Like you've tried something.
Yeah.
I think us as fans, always as Saints fans, we're just happy for the club to try to do something.
Yeah, like one
not just
step forward,
accept
two steps
mediocrity.
back,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly right. Die trying.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're doing at the moment. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Christian's asking Liam Stocker in the off season. Question mark. Liam Stocker.
I don't
He's
mind
delisted,
him,
isn't he?
because you always go by the opposition fans' reaction to when you lose a player. They were filthy about him going, so yeah, why not? Big midfielder.
I was going to say, what's the deal with him? Where's he from? What does he do?
He's
Isn't
the
he
one
delisted from Carlton?
delisted from Carlton. He's a tall inside mid that hasn't been playing there because of the Cripps and the Matt Kennedys of the world.
He's a good midfield, yeah.
So, and he was the one that they traded their future first round pick or what have you to go up in the draft to get him.
Okay.
With the first year that you could do the pick swaps.
Yeah.
Yep. This one's from Natasha. Is it bad to say that I just don't know how to feel about this whole situation?
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Definitely
bad at
not
all.
bad, no.
I think
justified.
I think that's how a lot of Sainers are feeling.
If you're happy about the situation, justified. If you're angry about the situation,
Equally.
justified.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
There's no wrong feeling about this.
No.
No, but
not at all.
at the same time, whatever the decision, I just want all Saints fans, we just got to get behind it.
Yes.
We can't constantly be bickering online about this. Once it's done, whether it's Ross or not, you got to get behind Ross.
Yeah.
Like round one next year, Marvel, fucking fill it. Like we could have Ross walking out with Lenny next to him.
Oh.
And maybe a halves or something. This is like other clubs would die to have all those sort of
This is blood.
heroes back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Ross is a hero because a lot of people
Yeah.
will say he's a villain, but he's a big figure in, I guess, why we love the club,
Yeah.
especially like
Yeah.
that period of dominance.
Can I ask, just to interrupt Jakey's junk mail,
Hmm.
this is my question for the junk mail. How many coaches can you remember that have left a club and come back to a club?
Someone said,
So like Parkin and Jezelenko, and there was
Yeah,
a few
it's a
like
long
Barassi,
time.
a long time.
yeah,
And like Parkin we don't count because they cheated.
Yeah.
So when they won the flag. Was he their coach in 95?
Yeah.
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 Cheats.
this one's from Stay Lucky. Could Ruffy step up to forward/assistant coach? I don't think so.
Not, I was going to say, not after the input that he's given
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah,
I'd say no.
I think if it hasn't happened already, it's not
Yeah.
going to happen at all.
No.
I don't think it's...
And I guess we're still kind of waiting for the fallout of the rest of the review.
Yeah, so we
Yes,
don't know
correct,
once
yeah.
whoever this new coach, whoever that may be, can come
Yeah.
in. There will be other heads that may roll.
I think
so-
that Ruffy's going to stay, but he's not going to get away with anything.
Yeah.
You know, he was mates with Rats. He knew Brett Ratten. They were mates. They were mates from back in the Hawthorn day. They were, you know, quid pro quo with each other. They were looking after each other during their tenure at St Kilda. And now that Ratten's gone, I think that Roughhead's not so safe anymore. So he will get a role put on his head. And if he doesn't want to have the role, he won't
Yeah.
Yeah.
join the task force. Yeah.
Josh is asking... not Josh, actually. Sorry, Josh. Jack. Do you think they had a coach lined up before they sacked Rats? Do we think that they were pretty confident on who they were getting before that decision?
Oh, they had to have had an inkling that the ones that they had in mind were
he
open
interested?
interested.
Yeah, definitely.
Or else
Yeah.
that's just madness.
Yeah.
I think they were waiting for all the other clubs to pick up their new head coaches based on contract. You know, they're running it at the end of the contract, like your Essendons and your North Melbournes and everything like that, to see if someone like Ross was still available.
I reckon it was the fair bit to do with the trade period, the timing,
Yes, yeah.
the upheaval. Like
Yeah.
you're not bringing in players.
Yeah.
Like just ask Essendon.
Yeah, I was going to say
The-
my favourite thing is also Ross Lyon telling Essendon to fuck off.
the shit vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, good vibes only down at Saints. Apparently, it seems.
Yeah.
Get
and
some white on your jumper, boys.
it's a quick, fairly quick turnaround to have that meeting. Like, it happened Thursday night.
Yeah.
So really, they only really had Friday. Obviously, there was the weekend, but you'd wonder how much activity would
Rossi
happen.
would have been working on his pitch.
Like,
Yeah.
do you reckon right after that presser on Friday, they've just got stuck into booking in that meeting on the Monday?
Yeah, I think that meeting
Yeah.
that we
Is that
just saw on Channel 7 News was just a little bit of a cherry on top there for Ross. Like, and this is what else we can give you. Yeah.
This one's from A. Evans. Is Zach Jones safe? Will he get a game next season?
That's a really interesting question about Zach Jones.
Guess it depends on the
coach
and the game plan, doesn't it?
Yeah.
and that's exciting because he was the one that he went backwards big time this year.
Big time, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we've given him one more year. So he can play football. So
We saw that in 2020.
100%.
Remember that game he had against Hawthorn,
Yeah.
where he had like 30 disposals and kicked 2 or 3 goals, and
Coming off like 7 weeks or so of missed football.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And he was really important to us in that 2020 season. So and 2021 as well. When he wasn't playing, we weren't playing that well. I remember, I think all those comeback losses
Yeah.
was because we didn't have any grit in the midfield that was willing to actually put their head over the ball and run through. And he was missing. So
Yeah.
I don't think he was playing due to injury and stuff. So
And for us to be a good team, we need a player with that leg speed.
yeah.
With the traits that he has,
Yeah.
we need that
Yeah.
to be a good team.
But we
So-
need people that can run with him too, because he does try and do too much.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
he needs,
it.
he needs to open up his peripheral vision a little bit and get his quick hands going. And then he's going to be a fantastic footballer.
Yep. Tam's asking, do they want Lions' quick success record because they see the list bottoming out very soon? I don't think so. They wouldn't make that mistake again, because in the press conference, Bassett, he said it himself that, you know, with all the pressure from even just the fans, the impatience, that sometimes you can just focus too much on the immediate and just
Yeah.
try to get quick wins. Make finals this year, but don't think ahead.
Yeah.
That clearly that they don't want to do that anymore. They want to create a process that is sustainable for the long term.
I was going to say, I just don't
I don't-
remember having that little crew of players that we've got right now back in 09 and 2010, or even 2007 when he came through, of just good kids.
Yeah,
Like Windhager, Owens,
Naz.
even to an extent Burns. I watched an old highlights reel from a couple of years ago of Burns playing, and then watched a game this year where he was the only bloke for the whole game to hit a target in the forward 50. He was the only one that lowered his eyes and waited at the top of the 50 for someone to come up at him and hit a target. And Ross likes that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a McWalter. He did exactly the
right.
same. The
Spot
only
on.
kicks that Andrew McWalter did in 09 and 10 were literally 20-metre darts to Rui on a lead.
Yep.
Watch the games. He's not kicking it out of defence. He's not on
Jeez,
the wing.
it-
It's inside 50 kicks.
If Ross was to come back, McWalter, he would be a great acquisition.
Yeah.
He would
Is he
be
still at
great, yeah.
Richmond?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been great there. Sharman would be another one I'd love to see under Ross.
Oh, yeah.
See what he could do.
Yeah. No more of this floating business, floating the idea of maybe playing a player back and a
Yeah.
player forward, you know. Where's Cooper Sharman going to play? No, Ross is going to pick a spot for him.
Yeah.
And if he's not playing well enough to be in that spot, we're going to fill you,
Yeah.
you know.
Mitch is, it's not really a question, but more a statement. Ross Lyon would give us relevance again, might become a destination club again. Players would want to play
We're on
him.
7 News.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
Only
for-
team on 7 News today, guys.
Yep. Aiden reckons Lenny Hayes should be coach and he could be Craig McRae 2.0.
Nah.
I think that's
Down the track.
getting sucked in a little bit.
That-
yeah.
yeah.
I think not every first-time coach is going to work out.
Yeah.
Craig McRae is an exception, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always happen.
And I was going to say something as well, and we haven't brought it up yet in the pod, and there might be a question about it at some point about Lenny, but in terms of a succession plan for Hayes,
It has to be.
but
Yeah.
wait, my dad made the best point, and he picked
Yeah.
all of this.
Yeah, he
For,
did.
for everyone that's just tuned into this podcast, this is the first time you've listened to it. Matty Joyce's old man is an oracle. Just give us a quick rundown of his crystal balling.
So it would have been the end of the year, round 23. He was like, okay, we've lost that game. Kind of seems like to me that, you know, we're in a bit of a state right now. Brett Ratten's missed out on finals 2 years in a row. I don't think he's going to be the next coach, you know, to take us through. Kind of seems like to me maybe we're going to get an old player back to the club to be the head coach by maybe round 4 to 6 next year. We won't win any games and we'll need someone to come back in that's an old player that we won't be angry at for not winning games. Just kind of stinks of that to me, and like the board's gone a bit haywire and whatnot. So I think that, you know, could be a Rui or someone that comes back and tries to fix things up at the club. 2 weeks later, Lenny Hayes gets announced as the assistant coach, and then another 2 to 3 weeks later, Brett Ratten gets the sack, and there's a total, you know,
and a board review.
And a board review. So he's seen this way too many times before at St Kilda Football Club.
Does he send you the sort of told ya? Like,
No, because he's shocking at texting.
Oh, okay.
He's shocking at texting, and I always let him know the news because he goes to sleep quite early. So I'll always call him the next day and go, hey, you were right. Got it right again. So he does have the crystal ball.
Is he nonplussed? Is he like, yeah, or is he
He's
like,
like,
oh,
no,
really?
he always goes, he's always like, oh, yeah, I thought it would happen.
Yeah.
He takes it in his stride. He's like, yeah, I thought it would happen.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
you know, Dad's been at the club and my grandpa's been at the club since the 50s. So,
Yeah.
like, they know what happens. And
They've seen a few winters.
They've seen quite a few winters, yeah. But anyway, his idea was to not put in place a succession plan for Lenny Hayes because it will stunt any growth that we make within 2 years. Because it fucked Collingwood off big time. Malthouse got them to 2 grand finals.
It hasn't worked, has it?
No.
So
it
you
worked,
reckon, like,
it worked for Melbourne.
Yeah, good.
But
one.
it wasn't a quick turnaround. It was like, okay, you know, he's coming in, Paul Roos is coming in to fix the culture of the club and to fix up the list. We've got the list now, but that's all I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's all that Ross is willing to do because he hasn't tasted the premiership silver yet.
he'd want to go the whole way.
That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
if he
So
was the
don't put a
coach.
succession in place. Let it happen now.
Yeah,
Because the
organically.
big word is 5 years.
Yes.
That's what seems to be getting the rumbling. So surely that's a long enough period to...
And if there'll be a contract clause in there.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't meet it, but we're in an okay spot, Lenny Hayes comes in, off we go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And this is a random one from Kieran. He's just wondering, will we be better than Carlton next year?
Easy.
I hate Carlton, but I think I love what Carlton have done this year. I really respect, purely because of the respect I have for Michael Voss and how much I love him as a footballer. All time favourite footballer out of a St Kilda jumper.
Yeah.
Michael Voss. I
Yeah.
think he is just like creme of the crop. So to see him come into Carlton and do what he has done, you know, to that midfield and that forward line and get them...
They
you know,
were so... how they didn't play finals has got me stuffed.
Oh, it was the most Carlton thing ever. But, yeah, you know, I to be honest, I don't care because they've earned it. You know? And we've got to earn that. We've got to earn what Carlton almost earned this year. You know, we've got to go one better.
Yeah.
So, will we be better or worse than Carlton next year? In terms of ladder positions, you leave that up to the games that you don't play against them. All we want to do is beat them again.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
And lucky last, this is from Brandon.
So, yeah, fuck Carlton.
Lucky last from Brandon. He said, to the Lord Marshy, our saviour Joycey and the Godfather himself, my question is, with Stevie J out of contention to become our forwards coach, who do you think will fill that position? Feel free to add on who you would like to become our new forwards coach. Forwards coach.
I reckon ideal would be Rui. I'd love to get Rui. Like we're going full Saints flavour for the 150th year.
Imagine that. Is this a whole marketing ploy?
Yeah, that's
For the 1 year.
I'd buy that for $1. So
Yeah, Rui would be up there. Obviously, no coaching experience.
We're
but
actually
obviously-
getting Alan Jean's tombstone moved to the front doorstep.
Who else is out there that could be a forwards coach?
McQualter.
McQualter would be there.
I've got one in mind for me that
Milne.
I would just love to come down to St
Who?
Kilda and because he loves getting around the boys as well. And he loves St Kilda. Dermot Brereton.
Oh, fuck off with Dermot.
I love, don't get
got
me
the same
wrong,
hair as him, that's why.
he gives me the shits,
Oh.
right? He gives me the shits when he's
Yeah.
commentating, but I think he's got a great attitude to come and pinch hit.
But he's already done that, and he didn't really do that well.
No, he did. He got Josh Bruce 60 goals in a year.
Yeah, true.
Like, he is so fucking good.
What
Yeah.
about
Like, he's just got such a good footy brain, and I'd love to come and see him do some work at St Kilda for 12 months and see how far he can get us.
Matty
Yeah.
Lloyd?
Matty Lloyd.
Imagine Ross just going to the
Lloyd.
footy
Lloyd.
classified team and just picking up Lloyd and go, mate, you come with me.
Kane Corns on the
Kane Corns,
backline coach.
Yeah,
or
we're actually
whatever.
getting Caro in to
hard
take
to
all the
pick.
press conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to pick who it could be.
Yeah, I like Matty Lloyd
But yeah, I think that could
because
be
of the
good, 'cause
history
we've-
with Max King.
That's it. And we've said we don't really want to get any outside help. But what if he's getting paid by the club and he's a coach?
Yeah,
And he'd be a perfect fit.
he'd
Like,
probably say no,
yeah.
and I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like nah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting
Yeah.
to see who we pick.
Yeah, true.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not another ruckman, please.
No, or a backman
No.
to
Robbie
coach the
Gray.
forwards.
Oh no, Robbie Gray's doing development now, and he's development and list manager or something at
He'll be good
Port
at
now.
that. Yeah.
So I don't know
Um,
why he's in charge of the list. Isn't that Cripps?
Who? Port.
Yeah, Cripps is the list manager.
He's a list manager, but if development, that's a separate sort of.
I
area,
think it was
isn't
development and
was
list
just-
something.
I was just thinking about players that have just retired, and if forwards.
Selwood.
No, not Selwood. Kennedy
Ah, Josh Kennedy.
from West Coast.
Yeah.
Imagine getting Josh Kennedy down to the club. That bloke.
to play.
No, not to
to
play,
coach.
to coach the forward line.
Yeah.
Because their forward line has always been the best structured forward line. Like, you remember those days where they had him and Lacroix?
Yeah.
Like, back in those sort of mid-2000s. They were a shit club, but, geez, their forward line was a well-oiled machine.
It was.
Yeah, and he knows where to be to get the football. Like, for me, he was the tall forward that had the mind of a small forward.
Yeah.
Just being at the right place at the right time. And, yeah, I think he could do wonders for a bloke like Kingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be
fair
against
enough.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There's
Beautiful.
the emergency junk mail done.
Emergency junk. Wow.
The
Jeez,
SOS
it's-
junk mail. I got called the saviour.
The saviour.
I don't mind that.
The Lord,
Yeah.
the saviour, and I'm just the godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, the emperor.
On your brando.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, if there's nothing more to add,
There's going to be more during the week.
there will be heaps during the week. We might need to call another
cover
emergency pod.
Yeah, depending
Next
on
week.
what happens with the announcements. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll obviously Poddy's not returning permanently. Everyone, it's just
Yeah.
a crazy time. But we'll.
And I was going to say,
jump
this
on
is
board
episode
when we
99.1.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to have to rename it because obviously we're on episode 99. This cannot be episode 100.
100, no.
The sacking of rats is not episode 100.
No.
That's terrible. So
Yeah.
So should
Well-
the 100 be when we announce a coach?
I mean, it's so St Kilda, though, because we're shit at milestones.
Nah,
True.
nah, it won't be the announcement, but I reckon we'll tee up some special guests. We'll try and.
But how many
we'll have
pods
a big
can we
show.
do before we class it as a pod, though?
Well, I just labelled this 99.1.
This
so
is just
we
going to
can-
be labelled just emergency pod,
Yeah.
battle stations, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not. It's pretty much a pod.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of my sanity, this can't be 100. So
Yeah.
fight me if you want us to be 100, okay?
All right,
Because
boys.
episode 1 was the first official game of Rats.
There you go.
For COVID, round
Yeah.
1 against North.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's. I guess if you were kind of wanting to tie it all up, it would make sense.
Yeah.
1 is Rats, and then 100 being.
To the next
He's
100
done,
being
but-
Rossi Lyon.
Jeez. But yeah, never a dull moment. It's just so funny that we've just looked at Essendon and North and
Yeah.
even Hawthorn and just come, that's cute. That's cute.
And we've just gone
All right.
bang.
Yeah, it's our turn now. Come on. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us the remote.
It was like Fox Footy's longest kick. But
Yeah.
Its longest shit. Um,
Don't know. All right, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely is getting silly. Anyway, boys, it's been a pleasure.
Yep.
Can't wait for more news this week. Stay tuned, Saints fans, and make sure
Oh, Bentley Social?
Bentley Social.
Talk about. I went to the Bentley Social.
Yeah, I saw that.
When watched the girls, and yeah, thanks to everyone who's been tuning in for the Talking Saints FCW. It's been another difficult season, obviously, and I think we're kind of expecting that with all the new teams coming in. But nonetheless, went down to the Bentley Social on the weekend to watch it on the big screen, and had a nice. Their burgers are good.
Burgers
Yeah.
good.
Burgers are good.
Yeah.
And with a bit of mac and cheese as well.
Yum.
Shared it with Daddy. So, yeah, get down to the social. Are we still going to do a cheeky function?
Absolutely. I think
yeah, we'll try and get one
once we'll get there. Let's see when the announcements happen.
Yeah.
Because if we do one now, it's just going to be constant hypotheticals, and we just want to go there, know what we've got in place.
Yeah.
And
have a good
post
night.
draft as well. And
Post-draft.
then that really sets up for just good Saints chat.
And we know
isn't it?
where the club's at. We
Yeah.
know the
Yeah.
coaches. We know the players.
Yeah.
Then we have
Spot
a
on.
nice. We'll go to the Bentley Social, our proud sponsor of the potty, and have a nice dinner and drink.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Spot on. It's been real.
It's been real.
Take care.
Up
Best
to
It's been
wishes.
wishes.
Ross. Nah. Go Saints.
I'd be lying if I didn't say this was good fun.
I love the feeling, so does the family. Oh yeah, Saints food, Saints food, Saints food.